So what was up with winter 2020? Was it really that bad of a season? This season has definitely been a strange one, you know, in terms of like its hype compared to that of other seasons that we've had. Now, if you compare it to what we had last year of winter 2019, then yeah, I agree, no comparison at all. But it wasn't all that bad, was it? I mean, there was a couple of shows on the roster for me I thought deserved more hype than they actually got. And there's two definitely that I thought deserved way more credit, and I'm really surprised they didn't blow up, but you know, it is what it is. And I guess that's my opinion, and that's why you're here. So let's roll the intro, and I'll see you in a sec. What's up there, welcome to a brand new video on 414 Anime. In today's video, this is my top 5 anime from winter 2020. Don't forget to smash the like button if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button for more anime content like this one. Now, a quick disclaimer, this is only gonna contain brand new shows. So the continuations like My Hero Academia, Railgun, Isekai Quartet, though I enjoyed those thoroughly and what they had to offer in their continuations, this is strictly brand new anime. So let's get onto the list, shall we?
Best anime this season for me is a hard one between this entry and the next, but what an anime this was, you know, and I'm talking about ID Invaded. This was a really good twist on the detective genre as we followed the brilliant detective Sakaido unraveling the mysteries within the idwell of a serial killer, solving the case of Kairu's death, thus solving the actual mystery in real life. So yeah, this detective is solving the case within a person's own mind using what is known as the Mizuhaname system to assist the police. However, the story thickens when it comes to the rule regarding those who enter these idwells, so you can only dive into the idwell if you have killed before. This is of course the case for Sakaido, or Norisago, as is his real name, who sought out revenge for the murder of his wife and daughter. The story for this show was just really well put together, and the imagery of these idwells were just, you know, something else. The cast of characters were all really interesting, you know, had backstories that didn't deviate from the main storyline and were voiced excellently both sub and dub. As well, both intro and outro were solid, as well as the entire OST really. I really looked forward to this one every week, and you know, it was such a highlight. I just couldn't believe it didn't get the hype I feel it deserved.
This anime was another one that I was really hyped for. I was excited for it every week, and I just could not wait for that next episode to drop. And can I just say that this next one, you know, the award for best outro of winter 2020 goes to this one. I've had that song on repeat literally since it dropped. So good. So when the first episode for this series dropped, I thought, man, this one is going to blow up. This one is going to be huge. And you know, I actually started making a lot of videos for it when it first came out. The anime in question is Darwin's Game.
Darwin's Game is a survival-based anime in which every player is given a sigil. These sigils are unique powers or abilities that help them out throughout the mobile game. This game, like all good survival-based anime, is in the form of a deathmatch where they must compete against one another in order to obtain points that translate to real-life currency. These matches are brutal, intense, and very well executed. The main protagonist, Kaname Sudo, is, you know, average at best, but was one that, you know, continually impressed and got better and better as the show went on, to the point of around episode 10 and 11 where he became a complete badass. We also have a contender for best girl of this season in Karano Shuka, most likely that I'm the only one to think this, it's fine. She resembled characters, you know, such as Misa Amane from Death Note, Yuno Gasai from Miraniki, and you know, the such, but still stood out as her own character, and in true 414 style, nice. Though I think more people prefer Daikon Senpai, from another series I'll be talking about later. Now, there are so many series that need a season 2, you know, like No Game No Life, Classroom of the Elite, High School of the Dead, the list goes on, but man, does this need a season 2. I think I'm, you know, personally one of the few to say this, but I feel the series has built up to Kaname's breaking point, and you know, I really want to see more. And the whole of the Sunset Ravens dressed in black too was just awesome. So awesome.
Next up is arguably probably the best show of this season in terms of its popularity. This is based on, you know, how much I've seen about it, and you know, personally, you know, how well my videos on this anime have done. A prime example of this show's popularity was that I was in Tokyo in February. Little to none of the shops had any merch to do with any of this new season's offering. All except one, and man, was this merch everywhere. One day we were in Ikebukuro, and It was crazy, absolutely crazy scenes, but this one store, literally half of the shop was merch for just this one anime. It was insanely popular over in Japan. And that anime was Toilet Bound Hanako-kun.
And rightly so, this series was an awesome one, mainly in my opinion targeted towards the female otaku, but at the same time capturing the hearts of us male weebs. The series followed Nene, who you guys very much thought was best girl of the season, investigating the urban legend of Hanako-kun, who is a ghost that haunts the girls' bathroom and will grant the wish of anyone who dares to summon him. This of course was just a rumour, and many had tried to summon Hanako to fulfill their wish until Nene, a girl hoping for much better luck in her love life, dared to summon him to improve her romantic desires. In doing so, she ended up succeeding and entering a contract with him, becoming his new assistant, and together they would explore the mysteries of the rumours being spread around about the school's 7 wonders, as they tried to maintain the balance between the human and supernatural world. Now, this series was just jam-packed full of light-hearted comedy moments between its characters, and the depth of some of these characters in terms of their backgrounds were just awesome in a nicely surprising way. You know, it was a strange one for me because I didn't anxiously await each week's coming episode like I did with the last 2 anime I mentioned, but I enjoyed this one just as much, often asking myself, you know, why am I not looking forward to this with the same excitement? What I will mention about this series as its main standout feature was its very unique animation style. I just loved the bright colours and how every character was drawn in an almost like chibi-like way. Even when the darker moments came, or the characters with the darker backgrounds were enjoying screen time, they were just designed in such an amazingly simply detailed way that was just so attracting to the eye. I loved the unique art style and animation so much that I wanted to do a list of anime that had a unique style. So if that's something that you want to see, then, you know, let me know in the comments.
Our next entry is one that admittedly I didn't start until very late on. I tried watching that first episode about 2 or 3 times, and for some reason stuff just got in the way, like normal life or YouTube stuff. And it wasn't because this show was bad or anything, it was, like I said, it was just life. But as the season went on, I started seeing more and more posts about this anime, and I thought, you know what, I've got to sit down and watch this now. Once I finally sat down and watched this thing, I like binge watched throughout like everything that I had missed, because it was just so like eye-catching, and it was brilliant. So last year, winter 2019, we had Naofumi Iwatani as our shield hero. This year, we had Maple.
So yeah, the series I'm talking about here is Bofuri. I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense. This was another one of those fantasy world video game animes to which, hand in hand with isekai, is very overly saturated at the moment, but every so often you will find a gem amongst these many shows, and you know, this was just certainly one of them. In this series, we see our protagonist Maple, who is a complete novice to online games, get her arm twisted into trying New World Online. She is such a novice that she decided in order not to get hurt, she would spend all her points in vitality, or defense. In doing so, combined, with her dim, clumsy personality, she had acquired rare and OP skills that have pretty much made her a boss character herself. Though she is pretty much a one-hit kill OP beast, she is still a novice and has a lot to learn. Thus, we follow her adventures throughout this game world with her friends who know a bit more about this kind of thing. So for me, one of the things that made this anime stand out was just how random it was. The first boss she encountered, she soloed it and won by eating it. I know. She also spent skill points on her turtle in order to give it the ability of flight, just because, she was entertained by the idea of doing so. Some of the stuff that goes off in this show is just funny to watch, and her ability to keep getting more and more OP just works instead of getting repetitive. Now, I do believe this show isn't the best of its genre, nor the best show out there, but I really did enjoy it for what it was, and it is one that I would recommend someone to check out, as well as being one that I wish I'd watched sooner, though I did enjoy binge watching, the majority of it. The animation for this one was solid, and, I did enjoy its character design, as well as the combat scenes within the anime. The story flew well, and I wasn't ever really bored of seeing its crazy antics unfold. And just to add, Kasumi for best girl. Don't at me.
So our final entry, and you know what, to be honest, I really struggled with this final entry. There was 2 that I originally had on this list, but because of Bofuri, I popped that into the list, and I've had to choose between one of these 2, and it was a hard decision. I enjoyed both series just as much, but this one just slightly topped it for me. So our final entry is Inspector.
Inspector was a really cool series, and to be honest, one that turned out differently to how I expected. I didn't read up on this one prior to its release, but found the artwork for this poster luring enough to draw me in. This series again is to do with the link between the human world and that of the supernatural. Main protagonist Kotoko Iwanaga is the link between these worlds, as she is known as the goddess of wisdom, the one that the spirits referred to as yokai come to when they are in need of some problem solving. Our other main character is Kuro Sakuragawa, a university student engaged to a beautiful woman, seemingly living that of a normal life. However, the yokai fear him as he is not all human. This unfortunately leads to the breakup with his long-term fiancée. 2 years later, an idol was crushed to death by steel beams, and a few months later her apparition began to appear, seemingly seeking revenge on the world for what had happened to her. Iwanaga asks for Kuro's assistance with the yokai, in which the two get caught up in solving the mystery of this idol, which turns out to be more sinister and more personal than it originally seemed. Now, like I said, this one was a really cool show and I enjoyed it. However, I think this anime was met with a mixed reaction. I've been watching this series with my better half, Jen, and while I enjoyed this show and what it had to offer, she felt that it dragged on a bit and I think she was losing interest. Yeah, I can see where this is coming from. The first couple of episodes seemed to suggest that there would be many mysteries to solve, but after I think episode 3 or 4, the rest of the series solely concentrated on Steel Lady Nanase. Not a bad thing in my opinion, but based on her reaction, yeah, mixed. I enjoyed what the show had to offer. Iwanaga was definitely a character that was always fun to watch, but I did find that the other characters were lacking. The OP and outro again, for me lacked, but not enough to put me off watching this series. I feel that this is definitely one you should check out if you haven't so that you can make your mind up on it, but it definitely ranks lower than other series on this list. And of course this is by no means a bad anime, as it wouldn't have been on this list at all. I just wanted to give a fair review of it. I loved how the characters interacted with one another, and I found the story, flew pretty well. I loved what they did with the idea for this, and the colours in the show's animation, really cool in my opinion. Also, watching the relationship blossom between Iwanaga and Kuro was, really sweet to watch, and let's face it, Iwanaga had some pretty classic scenes. Definitely worth checking out.
So there we go, that was my top 5 anime for winter of 2020. Let me know what you guys thought of the list. Did I miss your favourite on there? Is there any that you thought I should have put in there? Should I put Plunder in there? Should I have put Neko Para in there? There was some offerings in there, but I'm pretty happy with the 5 that I went with. So of course, let me know in the comments. I've also done fact videos on a lot of the characters from the series that I've just mentioned, so feel free to head over to my channel and check out some more information on them. Don't forget to smash the like button if you enjoyed this video, check out my other links in the video description, and subscribe for more anime content. Till next time, my fellow weebs, peace!